Good afternoon, guys. This is Kim from the Active Life LLC, and I thought I'd share some quick stories. Not stories, just information basically, but a short little funny story of something that my dad did. But I'm out here pulling weeds, of which I have an enormous amount of, but I feel like each little weed that gets pulled, that's progress toward a prettier garden. So I humor myself. In any case, for those of you who are just joining me, maybe your first time clicking on one of my videos, my name is Kim. I have a business called the Active Life LLC, where I do dementia care activities with seniors who live in group homes. And I like to get on here and share part of my journey and just different things I learned along the way, and any advice I can give or questions I can answer. So today I'm going to talk about what I'm calling the wins with my dad. My dad died in 2014 from Alzheimer's, and for 2 years while he lived here in various places, I was his primary advocate. I'll put it that way. He didn't live with us, so wasn't so-called full-time caregiver, but I call myself his caregiver because I managed all of his care. In any case, part of managing his care was keeping him active, and so that's what I did. We did things like we would go on Fridays to the senior center for lunch. You get a discounted rate, and we would have a lunch conversation, and sometimes we would stay and play bingo. We'd walk around the senior center and see what the people were doing and see if there's anything, my dad could get into. So that was like a Friday activity. Sundays we'd go to church, and I'd pick him up, take him to church, and after church we'd come home to my house and have dinner and football. He'd sit and watch football with my husband, and he really enjoyed that. Sometimes I'd give him a little haircut, and when I'm taking him to the barber became stressful, so I began to cut his hair for him. On one occasion at church, we were sitting listening to the pastor. Well, it wasn't the pastor of church that was preaching that Sunday. It was a visitor. And I'm not going to say what pastor he was, but anyway, he was kind of rambling that Sunday. And I looked at my dad and I said, what is he talking about? And my dad said, with this very serious face, absolutely nothing. So we both kind of laughed. He chuckled. And so that was a funny moment I remember. We would go out to coffee, Starbucks or whatever, because my dad loved coffee. I'm somewhat of a latte connoisseur myself. What else would we do? We'd go for walks where I would be holding his hand as if I am his little girl, his only girl. But I was holding his hand for his stability, so he wouldn't lose his balance. But anyway, we'd go for walks all the time in the neighborhood where he lived. Let's see, what else would we do? I took him to an art studio one time. My dad was not artistic. It was not something he would normally do, but he actually enjoyed it. Put on an apron, sat down, gave him a canvas, and he had at it. I actually have that picture in my craft room still today. I need to frame it so I can put it up on the wall. What else? We'd go out to lunch. Sometimes lunch could be going to like Sprouts or Trader Joe's, getting a sandwich and going sitting somewhere and eating lunch together. I don't know about you, but my parents weren't much for saying I love you. I knew they loved me, but they just didn't verbalize it that often or at all for the most part. I don't remember my dad doing that as when I was younger. But whenever I would leave my dad, I would say, Dad, I'll see you later. I love you. He'd say, I'll see you later. But that's all he would say. And this went on for weeks, months even. And on one particular day, when I said, I'll see you later, Dad, I love you, and he said, I love you too, I almost passed out. But I cherish that memory. I'm one of 5 children. I'm his only girl. And for 2 years, while taking care of my father, I got to have his full attention. Of course, not in the best way, that you would want, But nonetheless, I was the center of his world because I was his primary advocate for his and manager of his care. So that's something I'll also cherish. That all the time that I had with my dad, one-on-one, and just me and him hanging out, doing all the things, laughing, and I would say crying, but he did cry on one occasion. That's another story for another day. But I say that to say, please don't let the negativity and frustration of the disease dominate the whole experience, because there are times of joy and laughter and love that you experience with your loved one. And I want you to write those down, to hide them in your heart, and keep them, because you'll hold on to those later on down the line. So nobody's told you. You're doing a great job, and keep it up. Hang in there. I'm here for you if you need me. You can always ask questions. I don't have all the answers, but I would love to help if I can. I will suggest that you get involved in the Alzheimer's support group. They're all over the nation, and you just go on the website and see where there's one in your area. All right. Well, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving holiday with your family and friends, and that you're looking forward to celebrating Christmas. Again, this is Kim from the Active Life LLC. Please like my video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not already, and share. If you know somebody who's dealing with someone who has dementia, please share some of my videos. It might be of help to them in some way. I hope so. I hope something I'm doing is helping somebody. Anyway, that's my encouragement for today. It's a beautiful sunny day out here in Arizona. Blue skies, sunshine, a gentle breeze, and it's a beautiful day to get out. So enjoy yourself, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on my next video. Until then, toodles.